Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and friends, today I want to share a message for every woman who wants to rise, shine, and become the smartest version of herself. Before we begin, let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why some women walk into a room and instantly inspire confidence? Not because of how they look, but because of who they are? That, my friends, is the power of being a smart woman. Knowing your true worth is the foundation of becoming a smart, confident, and self-aware woman. It is not simply about repeating affirmations or reminding yourself that you are strong. It is about deeply understanding who you are at your core and recognizing the value you bring to every moment, every space, and every relationship in your life. When a woman truly knows her worth, she no longer asks for permission to exist fully. She stands tall in her individuality, her experiences, and her strengths. Many women spend years seeking approval from others, trying to fit into expectations created by society, family, or the world around them. But a woman who knows her worth understands that her identity cannot be shaped by opinions. She knows that validation is temporary, but self-respect is permanent. She no longer allows others to define what she can or cannot do. Instead, she relies on her inner compass, her intuition, her principles, and her dreams to guide her forward. This shift in mindset is powerful because it moves her from dependency to independence, from doubt to confidence, and from uncertainty to clarity. Understanding your worth also means acknowledging your strengths honestly. Many people underestimate themselves not because they lack talent, but because they fail to recognize the value of the talents they already have. A smart woman takes time to reflect on her abilities, achievements, and unique qualities. She recognizes that her journey, with all its challenges and victories, has shaped her into someone capable and resilient. This recognition frees her from comparing herself to others. She no longer looks at someone else's success as a threat. She sees it as proof that growth is possible for everyone, including herself. But knowing your worth is not only about celebrating what you do well, it also involves facing your weaknesses with honesty and maturity. A woman who understands her worth does not crumble when confronted with her flaws. Instead, she views them as opportunities for improvement. She does not attach her identity to her mistakes, nor does she allow imperfections to diminish her confidence. She learns, adapts, and evolves because she knows that growth is an essential part of self-worth. One of the strongest signs of a woman who knows her worth is her ability to set healthy boundaries. She is not afraid to say no when something compromises her peace, her dignity, or her growth. She is not afraid to walk away from relationships, environments, or conversations that drain her energy instead of elevating her spirit. She does not fear losing people because she understands that anyone who truly values her will respect her boundaries. This is not stubbornness, it is self-respect. A woman who knows her worth also communicates differently. She speaks with confidence, not arrogance. Her words carry clarity because she believes in what she says, and she believes in who she is. She does not shrink herself to make others comfortable, but she also does not feel the need to prove herself constantly. She understands that her presence has meaning and her voice has power. Most importantly, knowing your worth allows you to treat yourself with kindness. You no longer criticize yourself for every small mistake or pressure yourself to meet unrealistic standards. You become patient with your growth, compassionate toward your past, and hopeful for your future. You begin to trust that you are enough, not because of what others think, but because you finally believe it yourself. And when a woman reaches this level of self-awareness and confidence, she becomes unstoppable. She leads with strength, lives with authenticity, and moves forward with purpose. She rises not because the world lifts her, but because she knows she deserves to rise. Progress is one of the greatest indicators of inner strength and wisdom, And when a woman chooses progress over perfection, she steps into a mindset that empowers her for a lifetime. The idea of constant improvement may seem simple, but its impact is profound. Many people get trapped in the illusion that success comes only when everything is perfectly aligned, perfectly planned, and perfectly executed. But a smart woman understands that perfection is a distraction, a moving target that often delays action and steals confidence. Progress, on the other hand, is real, tangible, and deeply transformative. Choosing progress means embracing the small steps that often go unnoticed. It means valuing the little wins that slowly build into major achievements. A woman who focuses on progress does not wait for the perfect moment because she knows perfection rarely arrives. She understands that clarity often appears after action, not before it. So she begins, sometimes unsure, sometimes afraid, but always willing. This willingness to take the first step is what sets her apart. She recognizes that every accomplishment, no matter how big, is made of consistent, tiny steps taken with determination and faith. Progress also requires patience, and patience is a powerful form of intelligence. In a world that celebrates speed, instant results, and quick success, a woman who chooses gradual improvement shows remarkable self-awareness. She knows that real growth happens quietly, during late-night efforts, repeated attempts, and silent battles only she knows about. She understands that becoming a better version of herself is a journey, not a race. And because she values this journey, she learns to trust the process even when results are not immediate. A woman focused on progress is not discouraged by failure. She sees setbacks as part of learning, not a reflection of her worth. She understands that mistakes are stepping stones that sharpen her skills and strengthen her mindset. Instead of allowing failure to break her spirit, she uses it to build resilience. She examines her flaws with honesty, corrects her course with courage, and continues forward with greater clarity. Her power comes from her ability to rise again and again, no matter how many times life tests her. Choosing progress also transforms how she sees herself. Instead of criticizing her imperfections, she begins to appreciate her growth. She stops comparing her journey to others because she knows everyone's path is different. Her competition is not with the world, it is with her previous self. She tries to be just a little better today than she was yesterday, more disciplined, more patient, more focused. This simple mindset shift brings enormous change. It keeps her grounded during difficult times and inspired during slow times. A woman committed to progress also understands the importance of consistency. She does not wait for motivation to strike. She builds habits that keep her moving even on days when she feels unmotivated. She realizes that discipline creates the momentum that motivation often fails to sustain. Whether she is working on her career, her education, her health, or her personal growth, she shows up with sincerity and effort. She may not always move fast, but she never stops moving. Most importantly, choosing progress gives her a sense of purpose. She begins to see growth not as a burden, but as a privilege. Every new skill she learns, every fear she overcomes, and every challenge she manages becomes a reminder of her strength. She starts to celebrate herself, not for being perfect, but for being committed. She realizes that her journey has value, that her evolution matters, and that every small improvement brings her closer to the woman she aspires to be. Mastering your emotions is one of the most powerful abilities a woman can develop because it reflects a level of inner discipline that directly influences how she thinks, reacts, and makes decisions. Emotional mastery does not mean suppressing feelings or pretending to be unaffected by challenges. Instead, it means understanding your emotions so deeply that they cannot control you. It means being aware of what you feel, why you feel it, and how to respond with wisdom rather than impulse. When a woman learns to steady her mind in moments of chaos, she becomes someone who can handle life with extraordinary strength and clarity. A woman who masters her emotions first learns the art of pausing. In a world that encourages instant reactions, the pause becomes her quiet superpower. Whether she faces criticism, conflict, or confusion, she does not respond immediately. She gives herself a moment to breathe, to think, and to separate temporary emotions from long-term decisions. This simple act protects her from unnecessary regrets and keeps her in control of her choices. She understands that emotional reactions create noise, while emotional intelligence creates direction. Emotional mastery also requires self-awareness. A smart woman pays attention to her internal world. She notices what triggers her, what drains her, and what strengthens her. She understands her own patterns, and by recognizing them, she becomes better at managing them. Instead of saying, "I can't help it," she says, "I am learning to handle it." This shift in language reflects a deeper shift in mindset, one where she moves from helplessness to empowerment. By knowing herself, she becomes better equipped to navigate stressful situations with composure. A woman who has control over her emotions does not allow negativity to take charge of her mind. She refuses to let anger, jealousy, stress, or disappointment occupy more space than they deserve. She acknowledges these emotions, but does not allow them to define her actions. She chooses perspective over panic, calmness over chaos, and understanding over judgment. This balance gives her an inner stability that others quietly admire. People trust her because she remains steady, even when situations become unpredictable. Another essential part of emotional mastery is the ability to communicate with clarity. A woman who manages her emotions well expresses her thoughts without aggression and sets boundaries without guilt. She can disagree respectfully, speak firmly without shouting, and express her feelings without losing control. Her communication is influenced not by emotional turbulence, but by emotional intelligence. This gives her credibility in every environment, personal and professional, because people value her ability to stay composed and thoughtful. A woman who masters her emotions also learns to detach from things that disturb her peace. She no longer feels the need to react to every comment, correct every misunderstanding, or fight every battle. She chooses her battles wisely, saving her energy for moments that truly matter. This selective engagement is not avoidance, it is wisdom. It allows her to stay focused, productive, and emotionally grounded while protecting her mental and emotional well-being. Most importantly, emotional mastery helps her rise above temporary storms. She knows that emotions change, situations evolve, and difficulties pass. So she does not panic when life tests her. Instead, she reminds herself to breathe, to think, and to trust her ability to handle whatever comes her way. She becomes a woman who leads with grace, responds with intelligence, and moves through life with a calm strength that is far more impactful than any loud reaction. When she reaches this level of emotional maturity, she becomes unstoppable. Not because life becomes easier, but because she becomes stronger, wiser, and far more in control of her inner world. Investing in continuous learning is one of the most powerful commitments a woman can make to herself, because knowledge does not just elevate her abilities, it elevates her identity, her mindset, and her confidence. A woman who chooses to learn consistently becomes someone who can adapt, evolve, and thrive in a rapidly changing world. Learning is not limited to classrooms or degrees. It is a lifelong attitude, a daily decision to remain curious and open-minded. When a woman treats learning as a priority, she becomes unstoppable because she equips herself with tools that can never be taken away from her. A woman who invests in learning understands that knowledge expands her perspective. It allows her to see beyond limitations, question assumptions, and approach challenges with clarity. She reads widely, listens attentively, and observes everything around her with intention. She does not learn only to achieve success. She learns to grow as a person. Every book she opens, every new idea she encounters, and every skill she practices becomes a stepping stone toward a stronger and wiser version of herself. Her mind becomes her greatest asset, and she protects it by feeding it with valuable information. Continuous learning also teaches her adaptability. The world changes every day. Technologies evolve, industries shift, and new opportunities appear. A woman who learns continuously never falls behind because she stays curious, flexible, and ready to upgrade her skills. She does not cling to the past or fear new experiences. Instead, she embraces change with confidence because she knows she has the mental strength to understand, adjust, and excel. This adaptability gives her a competitive edge in every area of life, whether it is her career, relationships, or personal development. A woman committed to learning does not limit herself to one subject or one skill. She explores different domains and allows her curiosity to guide her. She understands that learning is not a burden. It is a privilege that broadens her horizons. Whether she is learning communication skills, leadership qualities, financial knowledge, emotional intelligence, or practical abilities, she approaches each lesson with sincerity. This diversity of learning makes her more capable, more resourceful, and more confident. She becomes the kind of woman who can enter any space and feel prepared because her knowledge gives her inner strength. Continuous learning also empowers her to think critically. She does not accept information at face value. She analyzes questions and forms her own conclusions. This ability protects her from being misled or influenced by negativity. It allows her to make wise decisions based on understanding rather than pressure. She becomes a woman who stands firm in her beliefs, yet remains open to new viewpoints. This balance of humility and intelligence is what makes her truly smart. A woman who prioritizes learning also understands the importance of seeking guidance. She listens to mentors, learns from successful people, and appreciates the wisdom shared by those who have walked the path before her. She knows that learning from others is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength and maturity. She absorbs lessons from real-life experiences, failures, conversations, and observations. Every moment becomes a classroom for her, and every interaction becomes a chance to grow. Above all, continuous learning helps her build confidence. Knowledge gives her the courage to express herself, take risks, and pursue dreams that once felt distant. She no longer doubts her ability to achieve greatness because she knows she is equipped with skills, insight, and determination. She begins to trust her own potential and sees herself as capable, strong, and worthy of success. This confidence radiates through her words, decisions, and actions. She becomes a woman who inspires others simply because she chooses to keep evolving, keep improving, and keep learning for the rest of her life. Choosing your circle wisely is one of the most transformative decisions a woman can make because the people she surrounds herself with directly influence her mindset, her growth, and her future. A woman who understands the power of her environment becomes intentional about the company she keeps. She realizes that not everyone deserves access to her energy, and not every friendship contributes to her progress. When she becomes selective about who she allows into her life, she begins to experience a shift in her confidence, her goals, and her emotional well-being. A smart woman knows that the people closest to her play a significant role in shaping her thoughts. If she surrounds herself with individuals who constantly complain, criticize, or discourage, she will unconsciously absorb their negativity. But if she surrounds herself with motivated, kind, and growth-oriented people, she will naturally rise to higher levels of positivity and ambition. She understands that energy is contagious. She chooses to protect her mental space by ensuring that the people within her circle reflect the values she wants to live by. Her circle becomes not just a group of individuals, but an environment that strengthens her inner world. A woman who chooses her circle wisely also values quality over quantity. She does not seek popularity, nor does she chase validation through large groups. She prefers a small circle of genuine individuals who truly support her vision, celebrate her success, and stand by her during challenges. She understands that a loyal friend is more valuable than 100 acquaintances who only appear during easy times. This realization brings her peace because she no longer wastes energy maintaining meaningless connections. Instead, she invests her time in relationships that bring clarity, encouragement, and growth. Another important aspect of a wise circle is accountability. A strong woman values people who challenge her to become better. She appreciates those who speak truthfully, even when the truth is difficult to hear. She knows that real growth often comes from constructive feedback, not constant praise. Her circle includes individuals who inspire her to dream bigger, think smarter, and work harder. They push her out of her comfort zone and remind her of her potential when she doubts herself. This kind of support system becomes a pillar of her personal and professional development. A woman who chooses her circle intentionally also protects herself from the emotional burden of toxic relationships. She understands that some connections drain more energy than they give. She's not afraid to distance herself from people who manipulate, disrespect, or undermine her. She does not feel guilty for choosing peace over chaos. She realizes that letting go is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of wisdom. By removing negativity from her life, she creates space for people who genuinely value and uplift her. She also values mutual growth. She believes friendships should be balanced, where both people contribute, support, and learn from each other. She does not surround herself with individuals who depend on her strength while offering nothing in return. She seeks relationships built on respect, honesty, and shared goals. She understands that growth is more meaningful when experienced alongside people who genuinely care about her progress. Her circle becomes a place where ideas flow, dreams are encouraged, and success is celebrated together. Most importantly, a woman who chooses her circle wisely becomes more aligned with her purpose. She is no longer distracted by unnecessary drama or drained by unhealthy friendships. Her mind becomes clearer, her goals become sharper, and her journey becomes smoother. The people around her reflect excellence, ambition, positivity, and kindness. And these qualities naturally become part of her own personality. She begins to move with confidence, speak with wisdom, and live with a deeper sense of meaning. By intentionally choosing who she surrounds herself with, she builds a circle that not only supports her, but elevates her into the strongest and smartest version of herself. Leading with kindness and confidence is one of the most remarkable qualities a woman can embody because it reflects a rare balance of strength and compassion. When a woman learns to blend these two powerful traits, she becomes someone who inspires others without even trying. Kindness makes her approachable, while confidence makes her undeniable. Together, they create a presence that leaves a lasting impact wherever she goes. A woman who leads with kindness understands that gentleness is not a weakness, it is a sign of emotional intelligence. She treats others with respect, empathy, and understanding, even when the world around her becomes harsh or demanding. Her kindness is not performative. It comes from a place of genuine care. She knows that every person she encounters is fighting their own battles, and a simple act of compassion can change someone's day or even their life. Her kindness becomes a quiet strength that draws people toward her naturally. People trust her, open up to her, and feel safe in her presence because she leads with a heart that listens. But kindness alone is not enough. Confidence gives her the courage to express herself fully. A confident woman does not hide her thoughts, her abilities, or her dreams. She believes in her worth and carries herself with dignity. She speaks with clarity, walks with purpose, and makes decisions with conviction. Her confidence is not loud or boastful. It is steady, grounded, and deeply rooted in self-awareness. She does not seek validation from others, because she has already validated herself. She knows who she is, and that knowledge gives her a natural leadership quality that others admire. What sets her apart is the harmony between her kindness and confidence. She is soft, but not fragile. She is bold, but not intimidating. She stands firm in her values while treating others with respect. She can speak her truth without hurting others, and she can show compassion without compromising her boundaries. This balance makes her powerful in a way that demands attention without forcing it. Her strength is felt through her calmness, and her authority is recognized through her grace. A woman who leads this way also understands the importance of boundaries. She is kind, but she does not allow others to misuse her generosity. She is confident, but she does not use her strength to overpower or belittle anyone. She sets clear limits about what she accepts and what she will not tolerate. Her boundaries are an extension of her self-respect, and they ensure that her kindness is not misunderstood as weakness. She knows that saying no is just as important as saying yes, and she does so with grace. Her leadership style becomes an example for others. She inspires through her actions, not through dominance. She uplifts instead of competing, and she supports instead of judging. People look up to her not just because of her achievements, but because of the way she carries herself throughout the journey. She becomes a role model who proves that true strength does not require aggression. It requires authenticity, discipline, and emotional balance. A woman who leads with kindness and confidence also influences her environment in subtle yet powerful ways. Her presence encourages positivity and mutual respect. She creates a sense of trust within any group she joins, whether at work, at home, or in her community. She is the kind of woman whose words calm storms, whose actions inspire change, and whose attitude motivates others to become better versions of themselves. The harmony within her becomes a source of harmony for others. Most importantly, leading with kindness and confidence allows her to live a life of integrity. She knows that she can be gentle without being weak and strong without being cruel. She shows the world that real power is not about controlling others. It is about mastering oneself. Her kindness becomes her legacy, and her confidence becomes the force that drives her forward. This combination makes her unforgettable, respected, and deeply admired by everyone who crosses her path. So, to every woman listening today, remember this. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be purposeful. You don't need to shine like others. You need to shine like you. Become a woman who thinks deeply, acts wisely, and loves gently. A woman who walks with faith, speaks with clarity, and lives with purpose. That is what makes you a smart woman. And as Gaur Gopal Das reminds us, when you improve yourself, the world around you improves too. So rise, grow, and become the smartest version of yourself, because the world needs your light. Thank you.